10 years later, they let me out on a Tuesday in October 2021. Frostburg's gates clanged shut behind me, and the air tasted like burnt leaves and gasoline. No cameras, no family, just a Greyhound ticket and a plastic bag with the clothes I wore the day they took me. I was 39 years old with nothing but a duffel and a decade of muscle memory from push-ups on concrete. I told myself I was done chasing ghosts. 6 months later, I was living in a one-bedroom above a bar in Charleston, flying crop dusters for cash under the table. That's where I met Delaney. 29, red hair, emergency room nurse who laughed like she was daring the world to disappoint her. She didn't Google me. She didn't care about the past. She just looked at me one night while I stitched a cut on my own forearm with fishing line and said, "You're terrible at taking care of yourself. Let me." We got married on the beach at Sullivan's Island at sunrise, barefoot, her in a thrift store lace dress that cost $32. I meant every vow, I swear I did. But every time she reached for me in the dark, I saw Sloane's silhouette against the Miami skyline. Every time Delaney said, "I love you," I heard Sloane whisper, "I miss you," when you're sitting right next to me. I tried. God, I tried. Therapy, 12 steps, sunrise runs, cold plunges, anything to scrub the first wife out of my marrow. It never took. 4 years in, Delaney found me on the back porch at 3 a.m., staring at that old Tulum photo I still couldn't throw away. She didn't cry. She just said, "I deserve someone whose ghosts don't sleep in our bed." I didn't argue. I called her an Uber to her sister's and handed her the keys to the truck. 2 days later, I left her a voicemail I'd recorded at 2 a.m., half drunk on bourbon and honesty. "Delaney, you're the best thing that ever happened to a man who didn't know how to be happy. I love you enough to let you go find someone who can love you louder than my past. Be reckless. Be happy. I'm so sorry I couldn't be your safe place." She never called back. She didn't have to. Some mercies are silent. I stayed gone. Took contract flying jobs in Alaska, then Namibia, then anywhere the Wi-Fi was bad and the sky was big enough to swallow regret. Then one Thursday in late September 2025, my phone lit up with a number I hadn't seen in 14 years. "Sloane?" My voice cracked like a 16-year-old's. Silence. Then that laugh. The same one from the night she stepped out of a dented Defender holding 2 flutes of champagne. "I heard you finally learned how to let good people go," she said. "Took you long enough." She was in Savannah for the weekend, closing on a house. Said she'd been sober 6 years, divorced some Danish count who bored her to tears, and spent the last decade trying to find someone who could handle her exactly the way she was, spoiled, difficult, allergic to apologies, and still convinced the world owed her beauty. Nobody ever did. "I'm 40 now," she said over oysters and contraband cigarettes on a rooftop bar that didn't card billionaires. "And I'm tired of pretending I don't want the one person who ever saw every ugly corner of me and loved me anyway." I told her everything, about Delaney, about the voicemail, about the nights I still woke up reaching for a woman who'd been gone since 2021. Sloane just lit another cigarette and looked at me with those reckless green eyes. "I'm not asking you to be fixed," she said. "I'm asking you to come home. We broke each other once. Maybe this time we grow up together." We didn't sleep that night. We walked the empty streets of Savannah until the sun came up over the river, her barefoot again, me carrying her shoes like I was 25 and the world still belonged to us. 2 weeks later, I moved into the house on Jones Street with the wraparound porch and the live oaks dripping Spanish moss. She kept the top drawer of her dresser exactly the way it was in 2017. The Tulum photo, the dried hibiscus flower from my lapel, the stupid mixtape I made her when mixtapes were already dead. Some nights she wakes me up crying because she dreams I'm still in Frostburg. Some nights I wake up reaching for Delaney and find Sloane instead, and the guilt feels like drowning. But every morning she makes coffee too sweet and climbs back into bed and says, "Tell me again how you never stopped loving my spoiled self." And I do. Because some love stories aren't clean. Some take 14 years, 2 marriages, 1 federal indictment, and a decade in prison blues to figure out they were never finished. They just had to burn everything else down first. Tomorrow still comes soon enough. But for the first time in a long time, I'm not afraid of it. Subscribe, like, and share for more Weaver of the Forgotten.